Well, the time has come once more for Sunday Night Lights. Here in our 8th round, drivers will be busting out all the stops to have their chance at a win. The points battle between Clog and Liftlander wages on. Let's see if anyone can close it out in these next 3 rounds. TWRS NASA Rallycross Lights from Crandon is next. Well, pardon the technical issues, but our venue for tonight will be the virtual Crandon International Raceway, specifically the short configuration. Opened in 1970 and located in Crandon, Wisconsin, Crandon has been home to off-road racing and home to NASA for countless seasons. Our lap tonight clocks in at just 1 mile with 4 numbered turns. Over the start-finish line, we see 2 jumps before a hairpin left. Over yet another jump, we enter a sweeping left, leading into yet another jump and another hairpin left. Final corner is a hairpin to the right for a change before we cross the start-finish line, completing our lap. In NASA Rallycross, our format is as follows. We are finishing open practice now, which leads us into a 3-lap single-car qualifying that splits the field evenly into 5-lap heat races. The top 2 transfer to the feature automatically, the winner gets 3 bonus points, and the runner-up gets 2. The rest of our drivers will be sent to the semifinals, which are also 5 laps. The top 2 will transfer, and the winner receives a bonus point. This sets the grid for our 10-lap feature race where points are awarded and trophies are handed out. Similar to last week, no Joker laps will be taken tonight. The 8th round of TWRS NASA Rallycross Lights 2024 season starts now. With Victor Vallee in the production truck, my name is Jared Lott, up in the commentary box, along with series sponsor James Watson, and we welcome you to Crandon. Looking for some great Rallycross setups? Big news, Team Watson Racing Setups has chosen to sponsor NASA Rallycross Lights. With sets meticulously crafted by Francois Martel, you're sure to find success in all of your Rallycross endeavors. Also, cameras all season our ASN are brought to you by Whiplash SimCams. Be sure to check them out at facebook.com/Whiplash Media. Thank you, Andrew Cardinal IV, for your camera support. Looks like we have lost NordVPN, oh no. And finally, the intro music for the NASA World feed was produced by our very own Alex Abedi. Well, we still have a lot of time going in practice here before qualifying starts. James, what are you expecting coming into tonight?
I don't know what to expect, to be honest. That's the thing whenever we head to the jumpy truck tracks, is that you can expect the unexpected, and that's about it. As far as layouts go, this is going to be arguably the least chaotic we're going to go to. You know, there's not a whole lot of turns. A lot of fairly straightforward turns too. It's not like if we were running the full Crandon in layout, but it's definitely going to be interesting. You're going to have a lot of room to work with. I assume we're sticking with the land rush starts, yes? That my disappointment is immeasurable on my days.
We haven't heard anything about the start. At least I don't. I don't really know this track particularly well. I don't own it, so we're working off the feed here tonight. So if we miss anything, big apologies there. Since we do have a little bit of time, let's take a look at our programming notes coming up for the week. Of course, tomorrow we will have the Rallycross Challenge back here for round 8. That's May 6th at 8 p.m. and 9 p.m. EST. We have the OSRL Cup Series, which is going to be seeing round 2 at Auto Club. That's May 7th, 8:30 p.m. EST. The OSRL GT Series, which we are streaming as well, will see round 9 at Road America. That's May 9th at 8:30 p.m. EST. And of course, we'll be back next week on May 13th at 9 p.m. EST for Daytona Short. Qualifying is starting now. We had some words from Bryan Sawyer, as we normally do. He said he is feeling really good coming into this one. So of course, we'll be watching out for his times. He said he felt quick. I don't really know if he actually likes this track, but I mean, it's going to be some interesting action compared to what we're used to. Full dirt, no jokers, compared to last week, which was all asphalt, no jokers. So this will be interesting to see how drivers manage. I believe damage is off, so we don't have to worry about damage too much. It'll just be avoiding going off into the grassy knoll as you have it there. Just grass everywhere that's not dirt. We'll ride on board with Bryan Sawyer for his first lap. just getting his bearings. I'm sure I've seen a lot of drivers in the pre-practice really mess up the start-finish line. They would underestimate the braking and just kind of go straight off into the grass and say hello to the marshals. So it'll be interesting to see if drivers can keep it on track and keep it clean. As you can see Victor with his big camera there. Still riding on board for his first timed lap. 42.887 the first time by. Let's see what he can get done this time. As you can see, there's just a multitude of jumps here. Absolutely huge amount of jumps. Surprisingly, only 4 numbered corners. As we look at some times here, got a bunch of drivers out on track. Bryan Sawyer still holding on to the best with that 42.8, sorry. Just behind him is Josh Klog with a 43.2. Mertz with a 43.221. As Tom Grady goes second quickest that time by 42.9. That shuffled Mertz down. There goes Liftlander with a 42.876. That's just going to be like not even 9 thousandths faster than Bryan Sawyer. These guys are close together here. He did not improve that time by, did Bryan Sawyer, so Kieran Liftlander is going to hold on to pole tentatively.
I think it was an installation lap of sorts. Like, I noticed a lot of the lines he was running, I think he was just taking it as an opportunity to cool the tires. We have 3 qualifying laps in this series, so you use lap 1 as your banker lap. Lap 2, you cool the tires, kind of take stock of what you did in that first lap, and then use the momentum off of the exit and start that as your super go lap.
Let's see what Bryan Sawyer can do this time by. Does not improve again. Oh no, he does. It came in a little late there.
Into the 7s.
That's a good lap coming from him. Kieran on his final lap this time by. He gets a little bit of a wall. Not sure if we're going to see any improvement there. Do have Josh Darnell in chat. Just wanted to give you a shout out there. Cheering on Eric and Cody. Not faster than Sawyer that time by as Liftlander. He's just 0.046 off of Bryan's best lap. We'll take a look, see what Dan Carrito can get done. We're riding with him now. Looking to see any times finishing out here. Got a bunch of cars still on track. Looks like everyone's finished up at this point. Looking down my timing screen. Klog holding on to P4 with a 43.213 with Mertz just behind him, 43.221. So pretty much everyone in the 43s. Looks like our bottom 5 are going to be in the 44s. And then our top 3 are in the 42s. So it'll be interesting to see what those guys can do coming into the later laps. Big bounce for Curdo. You got really got to manage the jumps here, it looks like. I mean, we've seen so many lines get messed up. And if you rotate the car the wrong way, you just, you're going to lose the car.
Yeah, and you need to manage how you land, too. Like, if you take the jump wrong, if you take it at an angle, or if you tap the brakes a little too much, tap the throttle a little too much, you'll actually kind of change how the car goes over the jump. And it will dictate on how you land. And as we saw from Carrito, he got it to where he jumped at an angle and landed, I think it was like left front first, and it just kind of bounced the car up and really unsettled. You really need to make sure that you land properly, otherwise that's going to cost you a lot of time and might end up with you flipping or getting wrecked.
Qualifying results on screen now. Bryan Sawyer's going to hold on to the pole. Liftlander second best. Tom Grady eking into the top 3 just ahead of our points leader, Josh Klog, as well as our reigning champion, Josh Mertz. Kaplinger qualified 6th there. Crosgrove, who I don't believe I've seen for another round, is here in P7, so good to see him back. Let's move on to heat number 1. Our grid for heat number 1 will be as follows. Bryan Sawyer on pole, followed by Josh Mertz, Robbie Kirtley, Chris Lunan, Jake Robichaux, and Joseph Pasucci. We're having a little bit of issues with our overlay here today, so apologies if you see anything going a little funny there. Just waiting on the grid now. Everyone's there, just waiting for the green flag. Green flag. Josh Mertz gets a good jump at the start there. Or is it a rolling start? Oh, my apologies. They were just standing there. They're pacing now, so. Jesus, look at me. Looking like a rookie out here. Bit of a trek to the start-finish line. Mertz is probably just going to try and get as close as possible to Sawyer. A little bit of tap between them. You can tell Josh is hungry. He said he went from P12 to P5 in qualifying. Remember, shuffling a little bit. Finally over the start-finish line now to start lap 1. Mertz looking for the inside line. Sticking the nose in on Bryan Sawyer over the first set of jumps there. As we round side by side.
Whoa!
A little to the inside there, man. Just to hold on to it. He's still almost alongside Bryan Sawyer. He's going to clear him, actually. Bryan Sawyer still holding on to pole. Fending off the reigning champion, Josh Mertz. He's looking up the inside. These turns are a bit sweeping. We do call them hairpins, but they are a bit wider than most, just because there's not that much traction on dirt. So you can only do so much rotation without handbraking, probably setting yourself up. Over the start-finish line again, I believe. Yep, lap 2 of 5. It is hard to spot it here. There's a lot of banners flying around. As everyone's kept it clean so far. No big incidents, no flipping. You can see, actually, Mertz and Sawyer there angling their cars just before they go over the jump.
Oh, big berm.
Big berm again. That's going to be a lot of time lost, I'm sure.
Yeah, you've got to be so careful. It's so easy to clip those berms on the inside. You can deal with it in a jumpy truck, no problem, typically, because, you know, there's a lot more suspension travel and play, and they're built for stuff like that. These things are very, very rigid, and they don't react well when you hit those. And it will yeet you very far off of where you were trying to go.
Fastest lap that time by was Bryan Sawyer with a 43.2. Still not as fast as his qualifying. I'm sure he's holding it. If he can hold on to this transfer spot, of course, he's going to hold it for the feature. No incident between these two up front or anyone behind. Gaps are starting to build. Mertz is just slowly chipping away at Sawyer, hoping to build a little bit of pressure. Gain some time on him there. We're seeing some varying lines. Be interesting to see what these drivers do with these sweeping kind of hairpin deals. It's a bit of a different discipline, I would say, here. Not entirely, but like you said, with how stiff these cars are, it's kind of light as a feather, stiff as a board. You hit one bump wrong, you're going the wrong way.
Yeah, you just need to be aware on how you attack the track, because, you know, like I said, the jumpy trucks, they can handle a lot more. They can handle a lot of punishment. You can be aggressive with how you get into the corners, and any sort of contact on most things, you're gonna be okay. These, not so much. You gotta be careful about hitting the berms, and then coming up here into turn 1, you've got to be super careful about those big earth mover tires on the inside. It is so incredibly easy to just try to hit that apex a little too close and clip one of those, especially since you have to take that late apex to get that drive off of the corner. But doing so, you get close to those earth mover tires, and they don't move. They're called that because they move the earth. The earth doesn't move them. So, small car versus big tire don't end nice.
Of course, last lap this time by. Bryan Sawyer still holding on, with Mertz still holding on to the transfer. Coming to the checkered flag now. Mertz looking to make a move. Looks like it's going to be slim pickings. Nothing really to go for there. Sawyer and Mertz will transfer, followed by Kirtley, Robichaux. And I can't see the best of my rest here, so apologies. It was Lunan and Pasucci best of the rest. Moving on now to heat number 2. It's going to be Kieran Liftlander on pole, followed by Eric Kaplinger in second, Dan Corritto 3, Matthew Morris 10. Oh my god, he's Morris 10 in 4, and Joey Morissette in 5. So looking at just 5 cars for our heat races here. We do have 21 total, so it will still be a 10-car feature. At least. I could be wrong on that math. I'll have to double-check my numbers. Just waiting for everyone to grid now. This gives me an excellent chance to double-check on my numbers here. If I can ever find them.
While we're doing that, I'd like to expand on why I think we ended up going with the rolling starts tonight. I believe it's because if you know the land rush starts at Crandon, you are starting basically 8 wide, all filing down until, right where you kind of pull onto the track from turn 1. So, as you can imagine, things get pretty chaotic, and wanting to cut down some of that chaos, I believe that's why we ended up going with the rolling start, which is the right thing to do, even if it's the not as exciting or fun to watch thing to do. It's great
Yeah.
from a competition standpoint.
Yeah, I think if we started standing, it would just be absolute pandemonium over the first set of jumps and going on to the first set of turns.
Yes, sir.
Speaking of, the final set of turns here, approaching the start-finish line. Good jump from everyone, just about. They're all nice and tightly packed here. They've kept it clean so far.
Oh,
Kaplinger
Kaplinger.
gets a bit of the wall on the inside. That's going to allow Corretto to move around to the outside. Liftlander's going to hold on to the lead. Kaplinger's going to hold on to it. Matthew Morris is starting to contend him a little bit, though. These front three pretty much tandeming.
Oh, another
Kaplinger
berm
with
hit
a little bit of the
Kaplinger.
berm. He didn't lose too much time there, too much grip. Top four starting to close up a little bit, pulling away from Morissette in the back, who takes a very wide line. He's looking for that better exit there. I don't think it's going to work out for him. Looks like we're still pacing here with how tight these guys are together.
Yeah, that's what's interesting about that corner is it's so wide. Oh, a little bit of contact. It's so wide. There's so many different lines you can take. You can take probably like 10 or 15 different lines through there, and any one of them could be the right line. So it's just trying to figure out which one works the best for you and your driving style. But you always see such different choices for every car on track, and that's what I love about it.
Now, I don't know if we have track wear on, but it'll be interesting to see if during the 10 lap, the grooves that start to form in this track. He might, after 5 laps.
Yeah, look at that. Kaplinger, they're side by side.
Still holding on to our points leader, Liftlander. Sorry, not points leader. He's gonna be, though. I'm expecting it. He's second place in the points. But Josh Clog didn't look too strong in the qualifying. It'll be interesting to see after these 2 endurance rounds who pulls out on top there. As Kaplinger's putting on the pressure.
Not a great turn 1, though. I tell you, it is a bit disappointing that he hit the wall right there in turn 1, lap 1, because he would have been side by side with Kieran off of the corner. It would have been interesting to see if he could have held on.
Liftlander goes deep there. Kaplinger's going to have to overcorrect and not door check him. They're keeping it clean, keeping it nice, being respectful, minding the space. As we saw the last time by, there's a lot of differing lines into this here. Liftlander's going to hug the line that time by. Gets a little bit of the wall on the exit. He sets the fastest lap, 43.5. Still holding on as Kaplinger, though, just 0.5 off. Lap 4 to 5. We'll see if he can get anything done. I'm sure he wants the transfer, so he'll make sure to keep it tidy, but he's looking hungry for the win, too.
Yeah, I would be, too. That's a front row starting spot. And as you can see, it's not easy to pass. It's worth its weight in gold at this point.
You can see the deep line there from Liftlander. He does get a little bit better exit speed because of that. Just widening the apex to get so you don't have to rotate the car so much. You can maintain better straight line. As Kaplinger had a vastly different line and got almost right on the rear bumper.
Yeah, Liftlander made a mistake. Like, did not rotate on him. Yeah, it's not rotating on him again. That time he's able to build a little bit of a gap, but yeah, he's losing a bit of rotation here in the final lap.
Not sure if he's having an issue, what's going on there, technical-wise, but it's not looking too strong from Liftlander. Kaplinger does drop back a little bit in this sector. We'll see if he can get that back. Looks like he's got his bearings again. Kaplinger's not going to be able to make up any time in that turn. Liftlander looked really solid that time by, really confident in his line. As we go through this right-hand hairpin before the start-finish. Liftlander a little bit of the wall. Slowed him down. Was not enough.
I don't think so. I don't think that's actually slowing him down. I think he's just getting close to it to where the sim is making it look like that there's tire contact, but I don't think he's actually making contact with it.
Liftlander, Kaplinger transfer, Joey Morissette, Matthew Morris, and Dan Corretto, best of the rest. Not sure why he just moved up there. That was interesting. Moving on now to heat number 3. We'll have Tom Grady on pole, followed by returning Cody Crosgrove, Jeff Cartwright in 3, Matthew Grove in 4, and Jacob Krask in the final position there. I believe this will be our final heat before the semifinals. Correct me if I'm wrong. We might have one more. This is heat number 3. We're going to have one more than the semifinals. Just waiting for everyone to grid now. A little bit of a tiny pace lap. It is quite funny to see how big that pace truck is compared to these little Beetles, I will say. I feel like that truck might have better suspension around this place than these things do.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%.
I mean, we've seen it countless times. There's not a lot of suspension travel in these things. You really, really got to be careful. We haven't seen anyone make a complete mistake yet. No flipping, no pandemonium, but I'm sure we will sometime soon as we come up to the start-finish line here. Green flag drops. Grady will hold on to the position, closes the door on Crosgrove behind. Excuse me on that one. Cartwright runs a little wide. That's going to allow Grove to sneak up the inside, move into P3. They're going to be side by side. Grove still holding on in front, manages to close the door just a little bit on him there. Cartwright going for a bit of a crossover, gets into him. There it was, the first contact.
Oh, he straightened him out.
Brask in the back behind him went way wide over the jump. They're still in this, though. It's not up yet. Grove still looking on Cartwright. Crosgrove and Grady keeping it clean in front of them. Oh, who's sideways?
Crosgrove.
It's going to be Crosgrove. I just mentioned him. Oh, he's getting pushed along. They got him back.
Oh, my God. It's just endless contact.
But there goes Grady.
Was that a bit of commentator's curse?
It might have been. I didn't even see him that time because we're working off the feed, and suddenly there's no Berto car in my face. So.
Oh boy, Alberto in the wall.
In the wall, sideways. Grove is going to start chasing him down now. It's Crosgrove and Grove. Very similar names. Crosgrove is going to hold on to the position for now, the transfer spot. Is Krask behind, or is that Cartwright behind? That's going to be Krask behind. What happened with Cartwright? Not sure.
A lot. 6 seconds in the rears of Krask.
Yeah, I mean, Crosgrove is 3 seconds off of Grady with the way he spun and stopped on the track there and got hit. Grady's just hot lapping at this point, 43.598. I'm sure he's thinking, hey, where did everybody go? He doesn't have anyone in his mirrors the way the track is. I'm sure he's around a couple corners.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how Grady's going to do in the feature here. You know, Tom is a pro class driver in the off-road series on iRacing in the jumpy trucks. Yeah, needless to say, he has a lot of experience around this track. Not necessarily in this car, but he's got an experience level at this place that the majority of the field doesn't. So it's not too surprising to see him ahead of the field in the heat. Obviously, we know there was some extenuating circumstances that caused the big gap he has now, but he's definitely quick around this place.
He took fastest lap last time by 43.5 flat, the fastest we've seen in this heat so far, at least. As everyone's just kind of spaced out, no battles on field right now. So Bryan Sawyer's team, it's TWRS as we call them, but move over at Speedy Time. They're going to be all transferring so far. Might be the first time this season we'll see them all in the transfer.
I thought like Barcelona or Brands Hatch they were both
something early on. We'll check on that one. We'll have Victor check on that one and come back to us. So Brands Hatch was the last time we're getting word.
I remembered correctly. Yay. I remember double correctly. Yay.
White flag this time by. Actually, Grady is taking the checkered flag this time. Grady's way out ahead, almost 5 seconds at this point. Did he take on damage? Nope, it just disappeared. Okay, interesting.
Well,
the sim was showing damage.
Yeah, I was going to say we have damage off, so yeah, any damage that comes up will be gone.
As Grady and Crosgrove will transfer, Matthew Grove, Jacob Krask, and Jeff Cartwright best of the rest. What an interesting heat there. The most interesting one we've had so far.
Yeah, by a lot.
Moving on now. This should be heat number 4. Yes, it will be. Josh Clogg will be on pole, followed by Marcus Palacio, Gerald DeFino, Eric Dubois, and Joseph DiGiacomo. You know, we sure do have a lot of people named Joey or Joseph here. And we got a bunch of Joshes, too, so I lose myself on that one a couple of times.
Josh is another one I'm going to be looking at too, because he is also a iRacing off-road pro with a lot of experience at this layout. And we already know that he's obscenely quick in practically anything he drives.
The pace truck crab walks its way off. We begin pacing. Be interesting to see if Josh Clog is quite as quick as we're used to around here. His qualifying looked decent, as he's starting to bunch up the grid a little bit. Palacio way out, trying to get a good jump there. He's trying to get the better line. Over the start finish, Clog still holding them up. He hasn't decided to go yet.
Oh my God, contact! Oh no!
Palacio was tired of waiting, and he said,
"Oh my God, someone's flipping!"
There he goes. Dubois upside down, first casualty of the night.
I warned you that was a possibility.
Back up to the front, Palacio holding onto the lead.
Oh, and there's
Clog
more
behind, and
flipping.
Defino giving him a bit of a kiss on the rear end there. Top three looking a bit feisty compared to the normal openings. I think Palacio just got a little bored there. Defino, excuse me, is actually playing. I'm not sure who I said earlier, but it's definitely Defino. Palacio with a vastly different line. Over the set of jumps. Clog still holding on to the transfer spot. I tell you what, it would be real interesting if we see Clog go to the semis. I don't believe he has this season. Well, maybe he has a couple of times this season. But usually, he's a quick transfer from the heats to the feature.
I'm going to say I don't think he's been in the semis, and see if my being right streak continues.
We'll check on that one at some point somehow. Not sure how we'll do that one. But Defino is keeping it in close contention.
3 in a row!
So Clog has not entered an LCQ. If Defino can keep up the pace and Clog keeps making tiny mistakes, we could see a first for the season. Fastest lap that time by.
Oh, way wide.
43.7 for Clog.
Oh, there.
Oh, little contact between them.
There is. It's weird. You see, there wasn't a whole lot of contact, but it was enough to kind of make Marcos's car jump. And if you remember back to the initial start, there was a little bit of side-to-side contact that also kind of launched Clog's car up in the air. That's something you see a lot with the jumpy trucks. If you hit side by side, there's a weird like neck cone glitch that kind of launches the truck over, and it's enough to actually send that truck you're side by side with barrel roll. Now these cars have a lot lower center of gravity, so they don't quite flop over and barrel roll like the trucks do, but it's enough to make a huge difference, as all of a sudden Marcos might not even transfer.
Battle for the transfer spot.
He's definitely not going to transfer now. Oh my goodness.
Can't believe he cursed him like that. Into the Marshall stand goes Palacio. Defino with a really clean move that time. I mean, that was a very excellent move.
Wow. This went pear-shaped for Marcos very quickly. Shockingly so, in fact.
And as there's no question at this point that Clog will transfer, he's holding on steadily to the lead.
Defino's starting to catch up to him, like, significantly all of a sudden.
I'm definitely not counting out Defino at this point. As we've seen, he goes on the attack, and he's been formidable. He made Palacio, well, I wouldn't say made Palacio, but caused Palacio to go off there. So he's not showing any mercy. Equal lap times just about for those guys last time by. Actually, it looks like Defino went a little bit faster last time by. It would have been 400ths. So not much. Hopefully enough to let him hold on to this transfer spot. As we round the final corner, he's got it nice and easy here. DiGiacomo is 4 seconds behind him. He will not overtake Clog, so Clog will transfer directly to the feature again. Followed by Gerald Defino transfer. DiGiacomo, Palacio, and Eric Dubois will be the best of the rest.
Wow.
For everybody to cross the finish line. What a heat that was, let me tell you.
Yeah, that's putting it mildly, honestly.
All the drivers off the track now. Let's take a look at our grid for semifinal number 1. It's going to be Robbie Kirtley on pole, followed by Matthew Grove, Jake Robichaux, Jacob Krask, Chris Lunan, and Jeff Cartwright. Now, I didn't catch it, but was Lunan in a heat? I don't remember seeing him.
Yeah, he was in the first heat.
He was in the first heat. He must have been in the back. And we were too focused up front. I don't remember where he finished there. I was thinking maybe he joined late and got into an LCQ, but that wouldn't make any sense, so. As the pace truck crab walks off once more. Kirtley will be taking them around the final sector. Kirtley and Grove on the front row. This will be an interesting battle between these two. We've got a couple sets of teammates here as well. It's going to be Grove Robichaux, and I believe Krask and Cartwright, yes. With Kirtley being a lone... Oh, no, we got 3 TWRS cars there. We cross the start-finish line. Clean start from everybody so far. Grove is going to look way down the inside. Almost gets a bit of the tire. Has to overcorrect. Krask is banging doors back there. Going to hold on to it.
Wait, didn't we have 6 cars in this race? Why do I only see 5?
Missed the grid. It looks like
oh my goodness!
Oh.
What in the world? Oh no!
Oh, big contact. Back 3 are out. Not sure what happened to Cartwright. Maybe he started from the pits there. I don't remember seeing him on the grid, so must have missed the grid as we go back to our top 2. Battle for the lead, even though they will both transfer, as long as they survive, that is. Kirtley holding onto the inside line. Makes a bit of a mistake, hits the wall. He's going to let Grove by. Matty Grove will be on pole now. Krask has caught back up to these guys in a shocking fashion as Kirtley starts to drop back from Grove in front. Just a little bit, vastly different lines coming out there. You can see Kirtley ran a little bit wider. Rounding over the berm.
Oh.
Kirtley making some mistakes, getting understeer in the car, not having the best lines. He's running way wide on the entry there. Trying to get a little more rotation out of the car, decides to go for a tighter line. Makes a little bit of time on Grove, but not much. I would say not enough to keep sticking with that strategy.
Yeah, it's too wide on that corner. Just way too wide.
He has caught back up, but the exit there lost a little bit of time again. He actually did the fastest lap that time by 43.959, as Lunan improves actually, 43.913. Lunan is down in 4. He's all over Krask at this point.
Yeah,
would be a battle for P3.
Yeah, he's trying to have a bit of a comeback. He almost made it through that incident there on lap 1 with Krask and Grove. At least I think it was Grove. It was one of the green sleigh pace cars. He's looking
outside. Is Lunan gonna
go
for a bit of a crossover? Maybe. No.
Krask. He had the run, but Krask parked it. That's gonna be a big gain off the corner for him too. He's sending it.
Lunan's gonna send it this time by. Contact between them. Krask is not gonna be happy about that one. I can tell you that. Even though there's no damage, it's a bit of a tough move. Robichaux has actually overtaken him as well. Lunan 4 seconds off of Kirtley as Kirtley's actually caught back up to Grove again.
Poor Krask has had a lot of contact this race.
Back up to the battle for the front. As Kirtley starts to drop off a little bit more, takes way much of the inside there. Coming to the white flag this time by. Rounding the final corner.
If you're Kirtley, just back it down a bit. Make sure you're pointing in the right direction because it's a long ways back to Lunan.
4 seconds the gap to Lunan behind him. Kirtley really doesn't, like you said, cannot afford to make any mistakes here. Did not want to lose that car in the last lap, running a bit wide, getting very close to the wall. Not the closest we've seen tonight, but getting quite close. Kirtley yanking the e-brake is going to send it into the inside. Is not able to make up time on Grove that time by. Actually, he made up a little bit on the exit there. Looks like Grove had a poor exit over a jump before rounding the final corner. Kirtley's going to try and take a look. Running a way slower line, but Grove will hold on to P1, followed by Kirtley, who will transfer. It's going to be Chris Lunan, Jake Robichaux, Jeff Cartwright, and Jacob Krask. That's not the rest. You just wait for them to finish their laps at this point. They were a good little bit off. Everyone has finished at that point. Let's move on now to semifinal number 2. Take a look at our grid here in just a moment. We have Joey Morissette on pole, followed by Joseph DiGiacomo, Matthew Morris, Marco Spalacio, Dan Curito, Eric Dubois, and Joseph Pasucci. All of the hard last names are in this one. That's wonderful. As we can see the pace truck there just waiting for 2 cars to grid. That's DiGiacomo and Dubois. They're taking their time, or maybe they will elect to start from the pits. Not sure if that's even the way to go around here. Just waiting for DiGiacomo at this point. Dubois was the one who flipped over in his heat on those earth movers, as you call them. Looks like DiGiacomo is going to miss the grid. Is he? Oh, he is there. I didn't see him pop in at the last moment there. So it'll be Morissette and DiGiacomo on the front row. Having a bit technical issues here. We'll figure it out. We're a living, breathing machine here. Rounding the final turn before the start-finish line. Morissette bunching them up a little bit before the start. Doesn't go straight away till over the second jump he decides to go. Puts the hammer down finally. 2 wide behind him. They're going to elect for wider lines. Almost 3 wide back there. Not sure who that was looking up the middle. I believe that's Curito that was almost looking up the middle. 3 wide again behind him.
Oh, oh my goodness. Oh, no. Oh.
And Pasucci involved again. Top 3 will pull away. Morissette running way wide. It's going to allow Morris to send it up the inside. Contact between them. A little bit of a push and shove. Keeping it clean, though. No spinning like we saw in the back there. Rounding the right-hander. Lap number 1. Matthew Morris will lead that time by with Morissette just behind. Dubois in 3. Morris caught a little bit of the wall. Manages to hold onto the car. Gotta avoid these tires like we saw. Dubois probably not wanting to make that mistake again as he's holding on to the battle for a transfer spot. With DiGiacomo chasing him down. So a bit of a 4 cars under a blanket. It's kind of 2 and 2 though. Our top 2 and 3 and 4 are battling respectively. We'll see how that works out here. Bit of a better line. Morissette ran a little wide. Dubois got to look up the inside, but not able to get anything done on pace. The varying lines are really starting to come into play. As the gaps close to Dubois, who's caught up slightly to Morissette. Fastest lap that time by so far, 44.376. Curito goes faster, 43.5. Palacio goes faster, 43.528. So the back of the pack will be catching up to the front runners here. As you can see, actually, they've started to form a bit of a conga line. It's about 5 cars under a blanket now, as we had 4 just not long ago. Giacomo and Curito back here. Hopefully they'll play nice. They are sister teams, so side by side. Oh, he's going to slow down and let him go. Curito now looking to chase down Dubois and maybe Morissette. That's a lot of ground to make up here in just 2 laps remaining. As Morris will hold on to the lead with Morissette just behind him. Our 2 transfer spots, if nothing happens, tentative at this point. Rounding over the jumps. So many jumps here. I'm sure I've counted them wrong. Morris running a little wide there. Morissette got to look up the inside. Nothing really of note here. Gaps are staying kind of consistent. Morris is going to round the final corner in the lead still. Palacio sending it way hard onto Giacomo there. Wasn't able to get it done. These top 6 have kind of started to close up a little bit more than I was expecting. Palacio went fastest that time by 43.521. Curito runs a little wide, gets a good angle over the jump though, so he's able to correct there. You can see the groove starting to form a little bit now that there's more cars on track here. So it'll be interesting to see how drivers deal with that as DiGiacomo gets very close to the wall. It's going to be checkered flag this time by as Matthew Morris starts to round the final sector. going to be too late for Corrido, though. He's not going to be able to get anything done. Matthew Morris rounding the final corner now. He will take the first transfer spot and the win for the semifinal number 2, followed by Joey Morissette will transfer, Dubois, Corrido, DiGiacomo, Palacio, and Pasucci best of the rest.
Man, it's crazy to not see Marcos in the feature.
Well, an interesting result there, but our heats are all wrapped up, the grid for the feature is set, and drivers are prepped to chase a win. But before that, let's hear a quick message from our sponsors.
You're so interesting.
I love your browser history.
I like that you're not hiding anything from me.
By the way, nice IP address. I like your neighborhood.
You are so special. This ad is just for you.
I learned so many things from you.
You are so generous.
With your personal data.
Switch on privacy, switch off trackers and viruses. Go to nordvpn.com. NordVPN. Safely be you.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Absolutely be doing what he has to do. He has to go for the championship. He has to recover the points that he lost. He's down the race, takes the lead in the 12. What a move. And he takes the lead and holds it.
Side between these two in the turn one. This is going to get spicy.
Over the jump to begin the first lap, clogging the inside line. McFarland contact between them. They are still side by side. This opens the door for Wetz. He can't make anything happen. From the 26, he has not won in quite some time. Dragster acing the entry to turn one. Up Betty to the inside of Magnus gives him a nudge. Grip strip on the inside, Phil. Wetz had a little bit better run, but looks like Ronnie's going to spot.
We welcome you back to round 8 of TWRS NASA Rallycross Lights at Crandon. Once again, with Victor Vallee in the production truck, my name is Jared Lott up in the commentary box, along with series sponsor James Watson. Huge thanks again to our new series sponsor and setup providers at Team Watson Racing Setups. Cameras all season our ASN are brought to you by Whiplash SimCams. Be sure to check them out at facebook.com/Whiplash Media. Thank you, Andrew Cardinal IV, for your camera support. And finally, the intro music for the NASA World Feed was produced by our very own Alex Abetti. We still have 5 minutes left in the warm-up here. We got a lot to talk about. I gotta say, coming into tonight, I felt really good because Lando won F1. We're not going to talk about it too much, though. I know Victor doesn't like Lando. But anyway, I am expecting pandemonium. I'm expecting pandemonium here. So, I think... How many cars is this going to be? Is this it's 12 cars tonight, so it'll be interesting to see who's going to handle the pace lap. That's Clog on pole, should be, right? No, actually, sorry.
Right.
It's Bryan Sawyer on pole. I forgot he won. So it'll be interesting to see how he manages that.
Well, what I've noticed with how the race has been starting is it seems to give the green flag like right as they're either about to go under the little sign or when they're past it. And honestly, that kind of doesn't work out well for the car on pole because the car on the inside, the second place car, is going to be having the inside line. And while it is easy to pull around on the outside, especially with these cars, you are kind of in a precarious position, especially if that inside car tries to go aggressive, which they will because, you know, it's hard to pass, and that's going to be your best opportunity. And we've seen that cause a lot of chaos already, like in the start of Heat 3 with Marcos and Clog. So, being the pole sitter might not necessarily be the best thing.
Well, we'll see. We have 3 minutes remaining in warm-up. Having a little bit of Discord issues here, losing the feed a little bit. But it'll definitely be interesting to see how Bryan handles the pace lap, and as well as bunching up the grid. I'm sure he's got something in mind, but Josh Mertz came to the chat not long ago and said he figured it out. And there's a little bit of beef between Sawyer and Mertz. So it'll be interesting to see if that shows here in the feature. I'm sure they're going to be hungry. I know Josh Mertz is hungry for another feature win. It's been a while since we've had him in the booth. He had the first couple rounds, but Clog is still our points leader. Liftlander will definitely be looking for a better result over him. Liftlander's been looking pretty strong so far. Not as fast as we've seen on the normal Rallycross tracks. This one is a little difficult. We'll take a look at our standings, actually. Liftlander is just 4 points off of Josh Clog ahead of him. And Mertz, actually, 30 points behind Liftlander. So Mertz needs to make up some ground. If Sawyer handles this right, he could be actually overtaking Mertz if he manages to hold on to P1. And Mertz gets a poor result. We'll take a look at our team standings as well. Saints and Sinners is still holding on to P1. With JC Sim Sport just 8 points behind, and move over at speedy time of Sawyer and, stand by on that one there, Kaplinger. Just those two guys. They're both in the feature tonight. So, they'll be looking to score some big points. Oh, Grady's part of that team as well. I knew it was 3, not 2. They're all here tonight. So, be big points for them if they can get the job done. Just over a minute remaining in the warm-up here. Cody Crosgrove, good to see him in the feature as well. I know he's a quick guy. It's good to see him back. I'm not sure when we've lost him, but he is back tonight. Oh, we lost him last season, so we haven't seen him this season at all. Okay, well, good to see him back. Someone's in the wall there. I think that was Kaplinger. Yeah, Kaplinger. Sawyer hot lapping. I'm sure he's hiding whatever pace he's got. He hasn't gone into the 42s here in warm-up. Just 40 seconds remaining. Well, just 30 seconds. I don't believe we have much else of note here. There will be some interesting lines taken, I'm sure. There's gonna be, it's gonna be chaos with 12 cars. There's surely someone who's going to either spin or flip on the opening lap, so we'll be looking out for that one. We'll be looking for, you know, contact with the wall as well, or those earth movers, those giant monster truck tires sitting on the side. We saw Dubois go up and over during his heat, so we'll be watching out for that one. Just a couple seconds remaining. We'll take a look at our grid here in just a moment for the feature race. 10 laps coming your way. It's going to be a big one. Just waiting for the grid to show up now. There we go. Now we've got our grid. Standing by. There we go. Bryan Sawyer will be starting on pole, followed by Kieran Lifflander on the front row. Tom Crady and Josh Glog will be just behind them, with Josh Mertz and Eric Kaplinger in the next row. Cody Crosgrove, Gerald DeFino, Matthew Grove, Matthew Morris, Robbie Kirtley, and Joey Morissette will be at the very back. This is going to be so interesting. I can already tell you that these guys are just going to be all over the place. As we can see, 3 of the move over at Speedy Time cars all right there within the top 5. It's very nice to see them all here. But of course, Lifflander on the front row with the inside line it will be coming into turn 1 over the jumps. So we'll see how Sawyer plays with that one. As the pace truck does a nice little crab walk off there. We'll begin pacing. We'll see how Sawyer decides to control these guys. You can see Mertz back there is already starting to eke up. He is really ready to go here, as the back guys are actually deciding to sit a little bit further back. Hopefully, you know, they'll probably be hoping for some pandemonium to unfold.
Oh!
4 wide back there. Somebody brake checked a little bit. Checking out here. Sawyer decides to jump a little bit early. He's going to hold on to the lead. Contact between them. Lifflander almost sends him around. Bryan Sawyer is going to return the favor, give him a bump on the rear bumper there. We've got 3 wide in the back there. They managed to sort it out cleanly so far. Mertz in the middle, manages to get past. I'm not sure who that was spinning in the TWRS car. Trouble all over the place, 2 wide over the jump. That's clogging a move over at Speedy Time car in the back there, battling it out. Lifflander is moved up into P1. Sawyer is just behind him now. Starting to look for a different line. Mertz way wide with a bit of a different line. We'll call that one creative.
Oh,
as
3
somebody's
wide.
bouncing on the ground next to him. Clog a little bit of contact. The battle of the Joshes. Lap number 2 already. With this many cars, it's so hard to keep track.
Battle for the lead!
Battle for the lead. Sawyer's going to send it up the inside, starts to squeeze Lifflander close to the wall.
Yep, he was just returning the favor. Kieran showed how he's going to do it, so Bryan's like, okay, I can do it right back.
As Grady is actually starting to put the pressure on Lifflander too. Move over at Speedy Time. We got 3 of them in the top 4. Mertz just behind and Clog just behind. Big points implication for Lifflander.
A little bit of rubbing his racing right there.
I'm sure Clog is looking to get by Mertz as soon as possible. He does not want to hold on to that one for too long. Contact! Lifflander trying to get it going again. He's going to be tied up with Grady, Kaplinger. Oh, is Mertz! Mertz in the back. He just dropped all the way back to last. He spun in the final corner. He got dumped. For the reigning champion, that's bad news. He's got a lot of work to do now. Sawyer.
Josh violence.
We've seen it countless times before. Sawyer is now in the lead with 1.5 on Lifflander almost. Brady's going to send it up the inside. A little bit of hip check there is going to have to send Lifflander wide. These move over at Speedy Time, guys. They are not playing around. More contact in the air. Bryan Sawyer just trying to pull away from these guys. I bet you these guys are running interference for him. As Lifflander is in a move over at Speedy Time blanket.
Yeah, he's in between so many jokes that I want to make, but I know I'm not allowed to make.
We'll save it for the after show. That one is $5.99. ASN After Dark. No, the standard.
So many jokes, so many suspensions.
There's a lot of championship implications here, though. Clog is really trying to reel in his move over at Speedy Time cars as well as Lifflander. TWRS cars have started to bunch up a little bit. Maybe they'll work together and get around Crosgrove, who has a very tight line there. That's actually, I would say that's probably optimal, as we're already halfway through this feature. Bryan Sawyer is starting to build his gap, 1.6 seconds on Grady behind. So it's going to be a 2 out of 3 so far on the podium for move over at speedy time. We'll see what Kaplinger can do, though. He's been looking formidable, as it were. He's been putting a lot of pressure on Liftlander, as Clog is still in P5. Just cars all over the place. Mertz has actually kept going. He hasn't decided to park the car. I'm sure he's feeling a little defeated, though, as our reigning champion.
He's gaining, though. He's cut off a lot of time from DeVito.
With a big incident like that, there's only so much you could do. Grady, fastest lap that time by 43.2. We haven't seen any 42s here in the feature like we saw in the heats. I'm sure at this point Sawyer is probably just trying to hot lap it out, keep it clean. As Liftlander has actually dropped Kaplinger a little bit. He's still within a couple of tenths, so he's not out of this one yet on lap 6 of 10. But Clog still holding on to 5. As they start to bunch up a little bit in front of them, you can see the varying lines coming out. Crosgrove, Morris just behind them. I mean, these top 7 or so are pretty close together. No one's quite out of the question yet, I would say.
Oh my
different
goodness.
line there. Contact between them. Kurtley's not taking any prisoners. Sent it on Morissette, got the move done. Morissette cannot be happy about that one. I'll tell you what, though,
Man.
who is happy? Josh Mertz, who has shaved off another second to DeVito in front of him. So if these guys keep battling, Mertz could move his way up the order. Maybe not super cleanly. He's only got 4 laps to get something done. But I feel like it may be too little too late. Way wide. Morris there. DeVito!
Oh no!
Oh, trouble there in the back, and there goes Mertz, moving up 2 positions for 1. He's moved up into 10. As it was, Clog has caught back up to Kaplinger. Kaplinger dropping back from Liftlander a little bit, 1.2. Things are starting to heat up here on lap 8 of 10. The gap in front, Sawyer is just 1 second ahead of Grady. Liftlander is 1 second behind him. Doesn't look like it on track.
Tom was one to watch. He's got a lot of experience here.
Grooves are starting to form. The track is starting to change as these cars rip through the dirt. Liftlander actually definitely got a little bit of the wall there that time. There's no mistaking that one for just sim thinking it. Grady has actually caught up to Sawyer. Sawyer, I'm sure, would be happy to have his team in the top 2. Clog is caught up. Oh, excuse me. Crosgrove
what happened?
overtook Clog.
He was about to take 4th, and now he just lost 6th.
Big points implications here.
Oh no!
Oh, man.
Bicycling. Get the little ding ding bell.
Close your eyes, Mr. Watson. Your team is racing each other. As Mertz is all between them.
Just be gentle. My wallet can't take anymore. Oh man.
Mertz trying to get something done here. That's going to be Kurtley that he's next to. Our top 2 have closed up, and Liftlander has closed in on them. Not sure if Sawyer's just trying to take it easy or he can't handle the grooves. It's going to be white flag this time by. Sawyer's definitely going to try and hold on. He's keeping it clean so far. We have to watch for the entry on this turn here. We've seen a lot of drivers mess that one up. You can actually see a bit of the dirt was lifted there on the entry. So Grady's going to be able to close the gap. Liftlander is not. Liftlander will actually start dropping back on the exit here. Rounding the final corner, Sawyer still holding on. Very tight line. Tiny bit of contact, but he will take the win in the feature with Tom Grady, P2, and Liftlander in 3. Eric Kaplinger is going to hold on to 4 with Josh Clog just behind him in P5. Josh Mertz made his way all the way up to 7. Matthew Morris is going to finish 8th, DeFino 9th, Morissette 10th, Kurtley 11th, and Crosgrove somehow all the way to the back. Not sure what happened there. We missed all the action at the back there at the very end. We were too focused on Bryan Sawyer taking the win here tonight in Crandon. A huge win for him and his team. However, a bad result for Josh Klug. It almost certainly means that Liftlander will be taking the points leader position.
And it's also a terrible result for Saints and Sinners too. Like, I believe the only car they had in the feature was Defino down in 10th. And your championship rivals finish 1st, 2nd, and 4th. That is almost as disastrous as you could get.
As Grove is putting on some celebratory donuts for just finishing this race. I can't really blame him for that one.
They're happy because it's over.
Sawyer's taking a trip through the grass, giving Crandon a little bit of a makeover in terms of landscaping.
The grass is moist.
The grass is moist, you could say. We'll leave it at that one there. As we'll shift over here.
That's not a dirty joke. I can make that.
We'll shift over here to take a talk to our podium. We'll wait for everyone to get into the media pen. We will actually be talking to Liftlander first instead of last this time. So let's go ahead and get him in here if we can. Well, Liftlander just deafened up, so we're not sure what's going on with him. Maybe he's avoiding the team talk there. Alrighty, we'll bring in our second place first. We'll take a talk to Tom Grady. Tom Grady, how are you? Congratulations on the P2. How was your race out there?
It was good. It was good. Glad to be back on a short course track and kind of drive what I'm used to and have some fun with it.
Now, talk us through those last couple laps there. What do you think was going on between you and Bryan? Were you guys having a bit of team orders there, or was he just having some issues with the car? Couldn't really keep up the pace.
No, I think he was kind of just setting and cruising to get to the end of the race, and I was doing the opposite and pushing to see if I could catch up to him and, you know, make it a little interesting for the viewers at home.
Alrighty, James, what do you have for him?
Yeah, I talked about this briefly. You know, I brought up your experience in the iRacing Pro Championships and on the jumpy truck tracks. You know, us jumpy truck drivers, it's hard for us to get used to this rallycross stuff. But how good did it feel to get out somewhere where you have so much experience, where you're so used to knowing what you're doing?
Yeah, to your point, it's very similar because it's dirt and it's 4-wheel drive, but in reality, it's two completely different cars and how you drive them. And I've been trying to do a lot more rallycross recently, just as a kind of like a training aid and learn something different and hopefully translate something back over to the trucks. And definitely glad to have this Crandon round where I can show my teammates some stuff. It's not just me learning from them and trying to catch up the whole time. And I think it showed that most other tracks I'm middle of the pack, and here I think I qualified 3rd. So it's good to be on some home turf for once.
Alrighty, well, before we send you away, you have anybody you'd like to thank tonight?
Yeah, thank you to my teammates for this series, Bryan and Eric, for helping me out throughout the whole time, and then also my personal sponsors, Raceline Wheels and Alter Ego Running. Thank you, guys.
Alrighty, well, thank you. Congratulations on the P2. So we'll send him out of there. Whoopsie, I'm going to drop him in a random channel. I think Kieran may just be muted up because he doesn't want to talk to the Move Over to Speedy Time guys. All right, well, I guess we're going to talk to Bryan. Bryan Sawyer, congratulations on the win, as well as getting another one of your cars in the top 3. How does it feel tonight?
Hell yeah, that was great. Yeah, I knew it was going to be close with Kieran and I. We had a lot of back and forth on those first couple laps, and then he got in his battle with Tom, and pretty much smooth sailing from there. Jesus Christ, I didn't think I was going to get a win in a season somewhere. But I'll take one.
Thing you did, yeah. I would say that was quite interesting. How were you planning to handle the start there?
Since we knew we had 1st and 3rd locked in, start was pretty much go wide, get the run, get Tom on my ass, and then run it a little slow before. We said before race pace speed was 50, so we held it a little below that so we could get just a little run up starting up. and worked pretty well. Kieran sent a beautiful slide job on that first turn, and I was like, well, there goes that plan. And then I think I got it back next lap, same spot. So yeah.
All right. Well, James, what do you have for him?
Wait. Did did I take endurance result or champion? I should, right?
We'll have Victor work on that one.
Oh, hell yeah. Let's go.
So by 3 points, the word is the Enduro champion. Well, congratulations on winning that. Well, James, it's your turn.
Well, look at that, taking back the team championship. So towards the end, we asked Tom about this. Towards the end, when Tom started to catch up to you, towards the end of that race, were you nervous at all? Did you think that he was going to be able to try to get you in the last couple laps, or were you just taking it easy and keeping it moving the right way?
I was taking it a little easy for some laps. I saw him catching up, and I'm like, I need to start stepping on it a little bit again because I'm like, I need first, and I need Kieran to have third. If I get second, Kieran's got it. So that's all I cared about this season, winning the endurance champion.
Alrighty, well, before we send you away, you have anybody you'd like to thank tonight?
Yeah, I'm thanking one person before I thank my wife this week. Don't tell her. I'm thanking Chris Leone for Yes2 Motorsports for running this combo so many fucking times that it's second nature.
And PG-13.
PG-13. We get one. But then my wife, my teammates, Tom for knowing the lines on this track and how to run them, Eric for all the practice, and that's pretty much it.
Alrighty, well, congratulations on the win and becoming the leading constructor.
Yeah, have a good night, guys.
Thank you. And now we will talk to Kieran Lifflander, who at this point, I believe, not confirmed yet, but should be our points leader. Kieran Lifflander, not quite. Oh no, I'm sorry. I've totally baited you there. Kieran, congrats on the P3.
Fake news, clickbait.
The fake news update. How was your race? Walk us through your race tonight.
Yeah, practice was pretty quick, qualifying pretty quick. Heat, or qualifying not the quickest. Heat, we obviously won, and then I knew that result was going to happen in the feature. Tom Grady, he's a jumpy truck driver, and I always look at the results and those races that he races in, and he has like 18x or some crap, and or something less than that, and I figured that he'd do a move like that. So, and obviously I knew I was going to be as fast as Bryan because Bryan's a tick faster in Q, but yeah, had that lead for a bit, and all I had to do was just hit the line right, and all it took was just half a second, or half a tenth faster throttle into the corner, and Bryan was able to get under me, and then 2 laps later, I got doored by Tom. So, yeah, came across the line on the final lap with a clean car. I gotta thank everybody at Zeems. It's been a stressful season, but you know, I'm not gonna be attending next week at Daytona Short. I'm gonna be out and away for other things. But yeah, pretty happy to come home with the podium finish tonight.
Alrighty, James, do you have anything for him?
Yeah, were you knowing that you were gonna basically have the inside going into turn 1? Did you have any strategy trying to use that to your advantage coming into taking the green?
Yeah, I reviewed, or I watched Heat 1 live, and it was Josh and Bryan. I saw how Josh was kind of holding the bottom for a bit, but he didn't really send it in there because I'm assuming he didn't want to hit Bryan or anything in that nature. So what I did was just saw where Bryan was going, and I am still on one monitor, so it's kind of hard to tell. But Bryan shot a little high, and I was able to get under him and just give him like the smallest tap on the left rear, which was able to move him up the track a tiny bit, and then was able to get under him and drive away. So that was really the only strategy, and if not that, just fall behind him and try to pick him off any way I can.
Alrighty, well, we know you already thanked somebody. Is there anybody else you'd like to thank tonight before we send you on out of here?
Yeah, Kenny Zeems, Daniel Folds, and unfortunately, if I'm not mistaken, it's going to be my last season with Zeems because going to be parting ways with him. So I don't know if I'll be a free agent next season, but just going to put that out there. So yeah, I'd like to thank them, all that they do at the shop, and happy to come home with the podium finish. And can't wait to get back at it at Phoenix, which is where we're really fast.
Alrighty, appreciate you talking to us. Congrats again on the P3.
Thank you.
Let's take a look one more time at points before we thank our sponsors and sign off for the night. So Josh Clog just barely holding on. He's actually extends the gap on the point leader now. He is 9 points ahead instead of the previous 4 he was. And Bryan Sawyer is going to move up into the position and dethrone Josh Mertz by just 1 point, which will be followed by Matt Belton behind them, who was not here tonight, actually. JP DeFino, Marcos Palacio will not move either. Coretta will be 8th in the standing. Kaplinger 9th. He moved up 1. And Jess Rakowski, who was also not here tonight, will move down 1 point. We'll take a look at our team standings as well. Move over Speedy Time has moved up 2 positions to dethrone Saints and Sinners, who were holding on pretty much all season. So they'll be down in 2 now, actually tied for 3rd with JC Simsport. So Pocket Sand of Josh Clog, he's not far off. And there's Kieran Lifflander with Zeem Setup Shop in 5. Slaypex 1 and 2 in 6 and 7. RX ARG in 8. JC Simsport Jr. in 9. And Saints and Sinners Racing Speed Bumps on our 10th position. Alrighty, well, let's wrap this thing up. We'll thank our sponsors one more time. So huge thanks again to our new series sponsor and setup providers at Team Wanton Racing Setups. Cameras all season on ASN are brought to you by Whiplash SimCams. Be sure to check them out at facebook.com/Whiplash Media. Thank you, Andrew Cardinal IV, for your camera support. And finally, the intro music for the NASA World feed was produced by Alex Abetti. Let's take a look again at our programming notes before we head out here. We'll have the NASA Rallycross Challenge back here tomorrow at 8 p.m. and 9 p.m. EST. We'll have the OSRL Cup Series. That's going to be round 2 at Auto Club, May 7th, 8:30 p.m. EST. The OSRL GT Series will be round 9 Road America, May 9th at 8:30 p.m. EST. And we'll be back next week for Daytona Short on May 13th at 9 p.m. EST. If you liked what you saw, be sure to like and subscribe to the Automotive Sports Network. And if you'd like to race, all of the info is on nasasimracing.com. The checkered flag falls on the evening. From all of us at the Automotive Sports Network, from Josh Mertz, Justin Robichaux, Jess Rakowski, Victor Vallee, Chad Irvine, Philip Kraus, Cody Erdman, James Watson, and Bryan Sawyer, my name is Jared Lott. We hope you enjoyed today's coverage of TWRS NASA Rallycross Lights. Be sure to join us tomorrow for the 8th round of Supercars here at Crandon, and until next week, have a good night, everybody.